Corporation, I'm proud to present the first annual Bristol Bay Native Corporation Fish First Award for the first musher to reach Galena. The reason BBNC titled this award the Fish First Award is it's really a part of our corporation's culture and history. In every business decision we make, we want to know what impacts, what benefits will be for fish first. It's all about the fish and the resources in our region. And on behalf of our board members, our staff, our 4,000 employees across the country, and our 9,500 shareholders, I am proud to award the Fish First Award to Aliy Zirkle.
Biggest trick is going to be keeping this hat away from my husband. Bristol Bay Native Corp, my good. Watch. We're having a big barbecue at our house this summer after the sockeyes. So I'm pretty excited about this award, and honestly, fresh salmon is going to be better than that. Keep the cat away from my husband and keep the fish away from my dogs. So yeah. Thank you very much.
I failed to mention that in addition to the canned salmon and smoked strips that she was presented on the trail in Galena, BBNC is also proud to present Aliy with the jacket, BBNC jacket, hat, as well as $1,000 cash and 25 pounds of fresh Bristol Bay salmon this summer.
Wells Fargo Gold Coast Award is presented to Aliy Zirkle. In addition to the trophy, Aliy also gets 2 ounces of known gold and a print. Congratulations, Aliy.
Wells Fargo. When I pulled into Uniquely, they were there with big smiles on their face, and I think you were a little chilly, but you hung in there. And the scariest moment of my race, okay, the trail was really bad, safety was really bad. The scariest moment of the race when they picked up my gold and they poured it. There was wind blowing, and oh, what could possibly happen? So it's all in here, right?
Sixth Iditarod finish, welcome Ellen Moore in position 27, 10 days, 17 hours, 27 minutes. And also the champion of the 2014 Yukon Quest.
We started this race, and actually my wife said, you know, they were talking about how rough it's probably going to be. And she said, oh, let us have it. And you know what? Mother Nature did. And I don't know if she'll ever say that again, because it kind of beat all of us. Anyway, I would like to thank the sponsors, Special Teams that are back there on the board. Horizon Lines, they're actually one of our personal sponsors and Iditarod sponsors. Golden Outfitters, Clarion Suites in Anchorage. We have stay there. Our dog gets to stay there. It's a great place. Eagle Pack Dog Food is a great dog food. It's eating Eagle Pack Dog Food won every race except this one. And almost won this one this year. So it's a great dog food. So thank you.
Some of the mushers that I've run with, including Joe Reddington,
Susan Butcher. I've raced with Cowboy Smith, and of course Rick Swenson and Sonny Lindner, and many of the mushers who I count as being the toughest guys out there, not to leave any out. And I would have to say that I think Aliy, Zirkle, and Aliy are among the most toughest mushers I've ever raced with, and my hat's off to them. I'm never going to get used to losing to women and children.
Please welcome Aliy, Zirkle.
Well, hello. First, I have to thank my dogs. Keto, Nacho, Chica, Waylon, Willie, Clyde, Pud, Boondocks, Olivia, Mac, Sissy, and the 5 dogs who are staying with Margie right now. Chemo, Scruggs, Schmo, Biscuit, and Scout. So I want to thank them. And I want to thank my sponsors, because most of my sponsors have become my friends. If you're not my friend yet, I'm going to make you my friend. So thank you. There I was at White Mountain, and I had a fantastic race up until White Mountain. It was great. It was fantastic, and I was an hour behind Jeff King, one of the best mushers in the world. And I had a great team, though. And I left White Mountain, and the dogs looked fantastic. And I thought, to be honest with you, I thought I had 25% chance that I could catch them. I was fit, my dogs were fit, I had 2 ski poles, I was ready to go. And so for about 3.5 hours after leaving White Mountain, I was rolling. And I kept looking in the mountains ahead to see if I could see Jeff, and I never did. I never did see him. And then we took a sharp downhill, which happens you go down Topcock Mountain, and you get right along the seashore. Those of you who don't know the layout, you go right along the seashore and you take a sharp right, and there you follow the seashore for 20 or so miles until you reach the last checkpoint, Safety. So the wind started picking up a little bit there, and you pass the shelter cabin right there at Solomon. And most mushers know, if you need to stop, stop. If you don't need to stop, keep going to your next safety spot. So the wind wasn't too bad, so I kept going. And then the wind got pretty bad. I have a lot of mushing experience. I've been mushing for 20 years, and a lot of that is in interior Alaska, but a lot of that has been in the North Slope and the Brooks Range and that kind of thing. And the winds that my team endured out on that trail were phenomenal, and I am incredibly impressed with my dog team and my ability to hang on to the sled. Many times I thought we were probably going to get blown into the ocean. The ocean wasn't frozen right there, so it seemed like not the best alternative. It got to the point where I guess I always knew I was going to make it, but I'll be honest with you, I was that close to not making it to safety. And when I pulled into safety, I looked at the clipboard that all mushers look at when they sign in. And Jeff King's name wasn't on that clipboard. And there was a little bit of time there when I thought Jeff was dead. I thought there was no way that someone could stay out there for that long camping with their dogs in those conditions. So I parked my team and I went inside safety, and I made my concern known to everyone. And they said, oh, he's camping. I said, oh, no, he's not camping. And about 10 minutes later, Jeff walked in the door, and I gave Jeff a huge hug. And Jeff and I aren't friends. We're not good friends or anything. I wouldn't sit and have a cup of coffee with Jeff King and talk about how his day was, but I was pretty happy to see Jeff. But then Jeff said to me, my dogs aren't here. And all of a sudden, the priority was something different. The Iditarod Trail sled dog race for me right then was somewhat over. Like, my priority was to get to safety, and then was for the safety of, you know, the teams that were there with me. So we kind of all huddled around, and of course I had nothing to do with it, but the insider crew, the cameramen, who I would like to thank, I'm sure Jeff has thanked them, but they went out in this ferocious storm and you know, in order with Jeff on the back of the snow machine to get Jeff's dogs. So I think that's pretty admirable to put yourself in a pretty harsh position to go save someone else's dogs. So I really want to thank those guys. So I was a little bit tired, probably mentally exhausted almost more than physically at that point, and I was sitting in a chair, and I fell asleep for about 30 minutes or so. And then I woke to people saying, hey, here comes a headlight, here comes a couple headlights. And I thought, all right, you know, either this is Dallas and he's made it, or Jeff's coming back with his dogs. Either one, honestly, was good. And I went out on the porch, the safety cabin, and it was Dallas. And he looked great. And he signed in and he moved some dogs around, and his dogs looked pretty good, and blankets were flapping, but they weren't cringing, and they were ready to go, and he took off, and I thought, we can go! So I went out back and I hooked up my team, and the last 22 miles of my race was fun. It was no longer that other race, it was fun, and I did the darndest to catch that young man. And we flew up Cape Nome and we flew down Cape Nome, and I could tell Dallas was looking back at me. I think he thought he was sneaky because he had his headlight on and he kept shining it back at me, and he was trying to cover it up, and I could see these two little beams in between his hands as he looked back at me. And I was going, and I could tell he was going, and he's not one that you should really run a sprint to, especially, what, 27-year-old? Never mind. And the last moment I thought I caught him was right where you come up on the street. And there was a headlight, and it would look back at me, and it'd look up on the street. Look back at me, and it'd look up on the street, and I was like, oh my God, I got him. And it was this man standing there directing me to go up the hill. So I got on the street, and I was like, so I knew I missed him. But I have no regrets. That was a fantastic race, and congratulations, Dallas. I have one other thing. When I traveled up most of the trail, my people are very good to me. Fans are very good to me, and a lot of people were really excited in the village of Uniclete when I was lucky enough to get in there first. And so a lot of people came around and took pictures of me with them. I probably spent about 20 minutes taking pictures. Finally, I was able to go over, sit in the corner, and try to have a little bit of food, and this really pleasant mid-20s young gal came over and kind of meekly asked me, she said, Aliy, can I take my picture with you? Yeah, sure, no problem. She took a picture, and then she stood back and she said, my boyfriend thinks women are sissies. So when you win this race,
I'm going to show him this picture. So, I wanted to ask the 13 women that finished this race this year to stand up. I don't feel like a sissy, do you guys? Thank you.
The Iditarod is one of those events, you know, it just keeps going on, and that's what's pretty great about it. I know somebody else spoke to it earlier, it was Ray. This race brings people together, people, countries, everybody, men, women. Believe me, Aliy, I think you're one of the toughest people in the world. I'd never say otherwise to your face because she'd clock me. So, it's a race between you and your dogs making up a team against Alaska and the Iditarod Trail. The mushers and the teams are really friends and comrades out there. I mean, I heard a lot of stories about people helping each other and putting their race on the wayside to help somebody else accomplish this journey. At the end of the day, it all pans out, somebody walks away a winner, but everybody who made it, and you know what, some of those people who didn't make it, pushed themselves farther than they ever thought they could. Became closer to their dogs than they ever thought was possible. And that's what the Iditarod's about. We're all here racing against something else. We're not fighting each other. I grew up as a wrestler, and that's an event where it is you against somebody. I am not against Aliy or my dad or Jeff King. I respect these people tremendously, and I learn from them. And that's, you know, the closest I get to, you know, taking anything from them is taking their secrets and learning from them. So this is a very cool event, and I'm very proud to be part of it. So I left safety thinking I was still comfortably in third. No pressure from behind me, no chance of catching the teams ahead of me. I had seen the clipboard there, it had Aliy's name on it. Who bothers to look if they actually signed in and out? I did not see Jeff's name on it. But I also knew that the checkpoint had no power and they were struggling just to be able to take care of us and get us through the checkpoint. And they had passed me on snow machine on the way to safety. So I figured, shoot, Jeff's moving so fast, they probably missed him. He probably went right on through the checkpoint before they showed up. Didn't think anything more of it. My only focus was getting me and my team to the finish line. So you can imagine my surprise when I pressed over Cape Nome and I see a light behind me. I'm thinking, how the heck did my dad outrun me by 2 hours? I'm sweating out of every pore. I'm completely bundled up. You have to be to protect yourself against the wind, and you fall down and get up and run, and you're sweating and you're freezing and everything all at once. So I looked back probably 100 times thinking, no, it's got to be a snow machine. There was a long stretch, I had convinced myself that was a snow machine without a headlight, and it was the driver was wearing a headlight. That makes sense. It's Nome. You see all sorts of rigs driving around here. A little bit later, I look back again. Now I think, maybe I ought to be a little sneakier about this. Obviously, I failed. I have a brighter headlight than I've ever had before, and apparently my skinny little hand doesn't cover it up. And now I see that distinctive head bob, and this headlight's going up and down, and that can be nothing other than a musher running. I tried in vain to convince myself that maybe it's that same snow machine going over mobiles. Nope. So we start putting the hammer down a little more, you know, accelerating, and it was quite the run. I figured, you know, I'm not going to let my dad beat me on this one. I'll never hear the end of it. It was already bad enough when I tied him 1 win for 1 win that he next year upped me with a 2nd win, so I'm not letting him pass me. So it was a race of a lifetime. We pushed and pushed and pushed. And I figured it doesn't make any difference if you're racing for 1st, 3rd, or 30th. My goal is to get my team to Nome as quickly as they healthily can do, as quickly as they are ready to do. That's my goal. So we did that all the way to the finish line. There were times that I was sure that headlight would pass me. I wasn't positive that I had him beat until I hit Front Street, and I was thinking, finally, we got this. And then it kind of seemed odd. If those of you who saw me cross the finish line, I was not exactly in a philosophical state of mind. I was more in a state of mind trying not to collapse or puke on myself. both of which were very difficult to do at the time. But it did strike me as odd that there was a lot of people out here to see the third place finisher. And then I thought, well, maybe there's a lot of people in Nome that want to see my dad beat me. So finally I made it across the finish line, collapsed on my sled, and you know, I'm thinking, wow, I'm glad to see that the sport of mushing is so popular that the third place musher gets this sort of welcome. I can't imagine how many people came out to see Jeff win this thing. And I crawl my way up to my wheel dogs to congratulate him, get licked in the face by Glitter. 1,000 miles later, you think this dog would stop licking me, and I did not name Glitter, okay? That was my wife's doing. And that's when somebody put a camera in my face and said something to the effect of, congratulations, or did you think you could do it? And I said, do what? And said, you just won the 2014 Iditarod. And I think I avoided saying anything inappropriate. I think I said something to the effect of, are you kidding me? There's no way. And then things started filling in. After that, all the answers, or all the questions got answered. But I think I may be the first person to make it to Nome first, and be the last person to know that I won the Iditarod. But